IMBEO Passionate B2B Partnerships. Das LinkedIn Live-Videocast-Format mit Praxiswissen für Gründer, Unternehmer, Geschäftsführer und Führungskräfte aus dem Mittelstand rund um Innovation, Selbstführung, Leadership, internationales B2Business Development und nachhaltigem Netzwerken mit und auf LinkedIn. Präsentiert von deinem Host İlkay Özkisaoğlu aus Bayreuth.
Yes, a wonderful good evening, dear LinkedIners and coating specialists from all the world and from all the LinkedIn universe. Let me greet with you together Thomas Kolbusch, the Vice President of Coatema. Hi, Thomas, how are you doing? And are you okay if we talk in English now?
Yeah, excellent. No problem.
We had a briefing just now, but we didn't talk about the most essential question. What is the language today? Do we do it in German or English? But because we are talking today about the 19th International Summit, I thought it's very much appropriate to talk with you in English right now. Thomas, for all our friends on LinkedIn, our customers, our suppliers, all our stakeholders, would you be so kind and introduce yourself for those that don't know you so far?
Okay. Yeah, let me introduce myself. My name is Thomas Kolbusch. I'm Vice President for Coatema Coating Machinery, responsible for marketing, sales, and business development. I'm working since 21 years for Coatema Coating Machinery, so quite a while. And beside the job at Coatema, I'm also on the board of directors of the Organic Electronic Association, and I'm also in some European-funded projects responsible for our work there. So it's not only the business, it's also a lot of R&D I'm involved in technology.
That's wonderful. And you are one of the inventories, if I may say, of Coatema, right? You're a long-term employee.
Yeah, I'm employee number 3.
Number 3, okay. So there's a numbering system and you got one of the first numbers, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, for all of you that have now switched on your LinkedIn feed and you are seeing me live here right now, I'm talking to Thomas Kolbusch from Dormagen, Germany. We are hooked up live here. And what we would like to know is if you are watching our show today, please let us know down in the comments from where you are tuning in right now, because we would like to see how the international spread of our LinkedIn live show will be today. Thomas, while we're waiting for some comments to come in and for the viewers to come in, I see there is already one commenter, and that is Benjamin, Series Life Coach. He says greetings to Coatema. And there's Jigar from India, says good evening from India. Thank you, Jigar, and thank you, Benjamin, for tuning in from as far as India. All the others, please write down where you are tuning in from right now. So let me ask you, Thomas, could you introduce us a bit to Coatema? Could you walk us through Coatema? I mean, I have been in the textile industry, as you know, for roughly 14 years. And prior to that, I was in the sealing industry with Elastomer. So I'm very much, iterate, let's say, with dispersions and rollers and full arts, but there is so much a wide variety of coating machinery available. What is your specialty and what do you focus on at this time?
Yeah, let me give you a short overview on Coatema Coating Machinery. The company started around 40 years ago with building coating equipment for textiles. And that's also the reason for the name. Coatema comes from coating textile machinery. So we are a German-based company with an English name, which is confusing a lot of people. But the focus of the company was from the beginning to develop coating equipment for different type of substrates. And the main idea is bringing functionality onto a surface, which can be a textile, can be a plastic film, can be a metal film. And if people think about coating, and I had a talk 2 weeks ago here in Germany, where coating is used in the daily life, think about the raincoat. The raincoat in 1830 was the first coated product globally, developed by a guy from UK. And he coated a rubber coating onto a textile and made a raincoat out of it, and globally controlled the market for quite a while. Terrible product, not breathable, nothing. It protected against rain, but it was also protecting against anything getting to the outside. So coating raincoats, dashboard materials in automotive, medical applications. So you have a big range of products where we use coating. So Coatema started in textile coating, and 20 years ago, we moved into high-tech markets. You know the discussion at the moment on electromobility, on fuel cells. We started 21 years ago on fuel cell developments for Daimler. At this time, everyone believed in 2004, 100,000 fuel cell cars. So we had big business in selling pilot coaters for high-tech. From fuel cells, we moved to lithium-ion batteries, flexible solar, printed electronics. And then we understood as a small, medium enterprise with always around 50 to 60 people that we had to look to technology niche markets to be competitive globally against the big ones. Beside building the equipment, developing equipment, early stage on, we did research and development for customers. So we have Europe's biggest R&D center with over 14 pilot coaters, R&D team of 10 people. And here we do development for industrial customers, for startups, and we do public funded projects, which are also part of our work, mostly European funded projects. So beside the equipment business, it's a big scope of services for our customers in R&D and technology development. The idea of Coatema is we always look for new markets. So the latest development, what you may have seen in the news, flexible displays need flexible films with flexible conductivity. That's one of the big markets, growth markets of Coatema at the moment we are working on. So that's in a nutshell overview what Coatema is doing.
Wonderful, wonderful. So you said you have some laboratory equipment that is running and available for trials. How many did you say? Did you say 14? 14?
14 units we have available.
Okay.
In different scale, different working with, different functionality. Everyone is invited to do our virtual tour. If you go to our website, there's a virtual tour of the R&D center, and it's quite impressive. And the units are used on a daily basis. So it's not a showroom. It's a working environment. We do at the moment 12 public funded projects in this R&D center, but we also do training, and normally we do our coating conference every year in this R&D center, showing running equipment, which is this year a little bit different.
Yeah, a little bit different and a little bit challenging, but we will make the best out of it. And in the second part of our life, we will talk about it. Right now, Thomas, what I'm interested in is, because I'm coming from an operational background, so how does the process work? I mean, I have now 14 laboratory equipment over there with you. How do I approach you, and what do you need to know to decide whether you can conduct a trial or not?
Yeah, the R&D team, team of 10 people, has different questionnaires. These are people from production environment, from university, from research institutes, and they normally take a look if it's possible to coat the chemistry you want to put onto a surface, if we can handle the substrate you want to put the chemistry on, and if we're also able to do the complete final product for our customers. If you think about, for example, on printed electronics, if you have flexible solar cell, organic PV, you have 5 layers you have to apply. You have to laminate a barrier film. So we are able in-house to do the complete process for our customers. Sometimes it's only coating 1 layer to do a proof of concept for new technologies, or we do also on a regular basis standard products so people can compare our results with their results from their production lines.
Wonderful. And regarding the let's say the type of coatings. You got full art, you got rollers, you got dispersions. What else do you have?
We have all in all over 32 different coating systems,
Right.
and 6 different printing systems. So we make a differentiation between coating and printing. Coating systems we use, as you mentioned, it's impregnation, it's roller coating application, doctor blade, but we also work with slot die coating, which is a very precise system to operate. We do inkjet printing, going into digital fabrication of products, up to nano imprinted surfaces, where we do very fine structures with coating and printing in one process.
Wonderful. For our commenters, I'm seeing right now commenters are coming in. I have a question for you. Do you have a coating equipment? I'm asking now our viewers. Do you have coating equipment in-house already? And if yes, if so, please write down in the comments what type of coatings do you offer for your markets. Let's exchange a little the technologies that are available around here on our LinkedIn communities. Thomas, thank you so much for giving us the insights on Coatema. So it looks like that you are one of the market leaders, maybe even the market leader in coating technologies. Can we say that?
We think so. In some technologies we are, and also in some markets, because we are there for quite a while. And we are also part of the ATH holding in Hamburg, which is a big technology holding, combining several companies out of the converting business. So in the overall holding, we have 450 people, 4 different companies specialized on different areas in coating and printing. So if you see the overall ATH holding, that's one of the biggest, I think, conglomerates globally on coating, printing, and laminating equipment.
Yeah, the reason why I was asking you is to set up the credibility and to come to the next point, which is our main topic today, which is the 19th Virtual International Summit. So before we come to the agenda, which we will present today in detail for the 4th of November, Thomas, let me ask you about this symposium. Now it's the 19th edition, which is quite a number. So when you think back about edition number 1, can you take us on your journey from edition number 1 to today? What has evolved over that time? What trends have you pursued? How has the symposium developed over the time?
Yeah, there was quite a development. I still remember the conference number 1 or symposium number 1. It was also here in Dormagen. We were at a different location, and we did it directly in our assembly hall to have enough space for all visitors. At the first event, we had around 50 people. It was a 2-day event. And at this time, we had 2 pilot coders. And I remember this event because we had some technical topics in this assembly hall. For example, the compressor for the assembly hall started every 45 minutes, which was a little bit difficult for the speakers. And we had the talks, and people just had to walk 5 meters to the pilot coder to see the live trial in operation. But based on this very small event, we learned, and we developed to number of 100 to 150 people. We switched into English as a standard language, because we have a lot of international, or we had at least the last years, a lot of international visitors from North America, from Asia, coming to this event. Basically, the idea is to listen to presentations, technical presentations, not advertising. And most of the speakers have to show in the afternoon on the machine what they promised in the PowerPoint presentation. Which was difficult sometimes to get the speakers into the conference. Some speakers canceled last minute because they weren't sure if their coating trial would operate. But on the other hand, we had a wild mix from people from renewable energies, textiles, other industries, sitting together and suddenly discussing, okay, why did this trial not work? or why were these trial results different, like the results they had at home. So latest, let's say after lunch, we had networking poor. We had panel discussions. I sometimes had to stop after 1 hour or 1 hour 30 minutes because we always had an evening event on day one, because people started technical discussions and didn't stop. And I must say also on day two, where sometimes people are a little bit more tired, we had really nice discussions. And what we are also proud of is we moved into a different location in Dormagen, so we now can host 100, 120 people in our conference area. We have more systems to show, but the spirit of the people is similar to the spirit of the first symposium. No one is sitting there and just listening. It's always questions. It's, yeah, some people like also to operate the machine in the afternoon themselves. We make this possible, and never someone was injured or we had any problems. So it's fascinating to see, let's say, 60 people around a high-speed running coating machine, but it's possible.
Yeah. And on this virtual show, will you also run a trial and show the people how the equipment runs? I think you were talking about video, right?
Yeah. We do a video upfront. We do digital trials or virtual trials at the moment for customers. Mm-hmm. But honestly, if you don't use a very pink color on a lot of our coating operations, you don't see a lot in HD video. So we do an upfront video to really have the interesting shots for our customers. Live stream of a coating trial might be not as fancy as we thought when we tried the first ones. But we will have videos. We also will have some experts explaining the background of the trials we are doing. So we're trying to, let's say, at least to have the spirit of the analog event.
I totally can resonate with what you are saying. This is the reason why I have invested now in a Canon 90D with a lens, a kit lens that has 18 to 135 millimeter. This is exactly the reason, because I want to make macro shots. Yeah, without those, you don't see anything. I have a group here in LinkedIn called Dach TV, where I was discussing how to make the best flowing shot of a textile machinery. And it's always difficult to tell filming people that our equipment, our materials are fast moving, and really the rovings, the fibers and the yarns, they are so small and I mean hair thin, that it's very, very difficult to get this feeling over. You have to see that in live, but it's unfortunately not possible. And we will make sure that you have very nice close-up macro shots of these materials, so that any attendee that comes to the virtual summit and symposium will have at least a glimpse of what's going on the equipment. Yeah, let's talk about the symposium itself that is coming up. So the date is the 4th of November. And we will be starting in the morning at 10 a.m. With, of course, your greeting of the members. We will be conducting this on Zoom. So everyone who buys a ticket will get a Zoom link from us, and you can hook us on Zoom. I will be all the day also with you guys. So I'm really very much looking forward. And you've mentioned, Thomas, and that caught my attention, you are differentiating between coating and printing. So one of the keynotes will be high-speed inkjet printing from Professor Shahzad Khan, which I'm greeting at this moment, from NTS Eindhoven, Netherlands. So tell me about printing. Is that one of your capabilities, actually, or why is printing now on the agenda?
It's not only printing; it's digital printing. Mm-hmm. So you see also in our businesses we are in, the importance of digital fabrication. So producing products with the same cost of product one, than, for example, 1 million products. is getting more and more important. Specifically now with COVID-19, a lot of production capabilities are coming back to Europe. So it will be more local, so smaller quantities of products being produced. A lot of design changes in products over a period of time. So if you are able to use a digital approach like inkjet, where it's easy to change the designs of the structures you want to print, that's a big step forward. And we're not using inkjet for graphical arts. We're using inkjet for functional inks. So, for example, printing very fine silver lines onto solar cells, onto displays for touch panel application, or printing also silver structures like a solar leaf, where you don't have a flat, straight solar cell, where you more have an artificial leaf, which has the same function. And therefore, we need inkjet as a technology. And of course, inkjet, you can connect very nicely with Industry 4.0. So you can interconnect it with other suppliers, which are also using digital fabrication methods. So that's basically the idea, having digital fabrication additionally to our standard coating and printing methods.
Wonderful. And has it by accident any also links to the wearable patches for vital sign monitoring that Milan Salming will talk about?
Yeah, that's exactly the point. Because if you think about medical patches, which are attached to the skin, they first of all have to be stretchable. So also the ink on the surface has to be stretchable. And of course, these patches have 1,000 different designs. Depending on the supplier, they can be a round shape. They can have a specific shape if they are placed in a specific area. And therefore, also you need inkjet printing. But with the medical patches here, of course, you integrate sensors. You integrate maybe also an FC to read out the data from the patch. So there's a lot of, let's say, hybrid functionality coming into a standard patch, where you in former times just use it for measuring maybe your heartbeat or something else.
Okay, so we got the medical science here covered. Then what also I found interesting is, of course, the integrated functions for smart composites manufactured. So Professor Thomas Gries from RWTH Aachen will talk about that. Give me a glimpse on what is this topic about.
It's a topic from the Fraunhofer ITA in Aachen. Professor Gries is working with his team a lot on different type of composite materials, but a standard composite material has no smart function. But what they are doing, they're adding sensor functionality into a composite. So imagine an aerospace wing which has a lot of physical stress, and you are able to measure, for example, the physical stress over the lifetime of the aero wing, and you are able to send out the data with an NFC reader to the log-on. So that's very interesting. Also for architectural applications, if you put temperature sensors in, humidity sensors, that's quite interesting. So you have already a high-tech product like composite, but you're adding a smart function into this product. So I think that's a very interesting approach. And the ITA is working on this already for a long time. And they bring more and more functionality into not standard composite materials, but into high-tech.
That's wonderful, because that will ease also the work of maintenance engineers in the future, because you could indicatively say this wing or this equipment in the plane needs replacement because it's aging too fast or something is going wrong. Very smart and clever idea. Okay, so let's move on. Solar cells, quality control systems for flexible solar cells. Solar is one of the renewable energy trends of the past years. I think there's a slump right now, but it's coming back these days. So how can you help solar cells becoming more popular in future?
They are already popular, but we are working since 20 years in solar cells, which are replacing the standard silicon wafers. So the idea was in the beginning to have solar cells which can be easily printed or coated on flexible substrates, which are lightweight, which have the freedom of design and functionality. And this dream in the research community, we followed in different technologies. And this partner from Greece has a production line from us for flexible solar cells. They have the world efficiency record on these flexible solar cells. And what they are now doing in Greece is they are increasing the capacity into real production. And if you go into real production operation, of course, then you need quality control systems. And specifically, they do coatings which are under 1 micron, so thinner than a human hair, which are transparent. And at the same time, you have to measure in a continuous process, is this layer functional? Is there coating? Or what I'm doing at the moment, running 30 meters per minute, having sometimes materials which are quite expensive. So you can imagine how important quality control, quality management, but also analysis, big data is quite important for this. And this institute and university, they are also developing the algorithms to understand why there is a defect on a solar cell. So the idea is to increase the efficiency, not by fine-tuning the chemistry, but by fine-tuning the overall production process. And with this, I think there's a big opportunity that this R&D technology will really jump into real-life production environment.
Okay, so we've gone through medical applications, we've gone from aerospace applications, from coating to dyeing and printing. Obviously, we don't have the time to go overly into the detail of the keynotes lineup.
Yeah.
If you are interested in the keynote speakers, please have a look at the link which I will provide somewhere around this LinkedIn Live. And there you can click on our LinkedIn event. On this LinkedIn event, don't worry, you just click on the event and Thomas will grant you access to this event. In this event, you can read more about our agenda, the speaker lineup. And of course, there's also a button where you can purchase the ticket. But before we come to the ticket details, Thomas, then as a final point, you are conducting 2 panels during the 4th of November. What is the idea of the panel and why should our viewers attend to the panels?
I think the idea of the panels is interactive discussion in a virtual environment. We did these panels also in the old style conference, and what we always had were the discussions between the participants, and I think that's the real value of the conference. It's not one technology, not one market. There are experts from a bunch of coating and printing markets. So someone working medical suddenly can interact with someone working on solar cells, and sometimes they find similar technologies they are using. And with the panels, we start discussion with the participants, and of course the experts we have here as speakers are of course at the technology level also to answer very difficult questions. So we had sometimes 30 minutes discussion on viscosity behavior of a specific fluid, and different opinions. And if you start having different opinions with technical guys, it's normally very interesting. So that's also the reason why we said we don't do one panel discussion, we better do 2, because from the different technology topics and market topics we have here, I see a lot of questions and discussions coming in.
That is wonderful. So on the one side, you got the classical conference format where speakers are lined up and will talk about their subject matter. But then you have some visuals like videos that you will provide during the 19th symposium. And finally, you have an interactive forum where people can ask their questions and they will get live answers, right?
Yeah.
So
also, after every speech, we have 5 minutes for questions and answers. But from the experience also in the normal conference, it's always good to have this panel discussions. After panel discussion 1, we have much more questions and interaction normally in the audience.
Wonderful. Okay. So let's come then to our conclusion of today. So where can the people buy their tickets? What is the ticket price? Do you have special prizes for students? Do you have any gifts, any handouts? What's the program there, Thomas?
Yeah, the program will be that you go to the LinkedIn event, you can click on the ticket button, you will jump to our webpage where you find the paperwork you have to send in. So applying for the ticket price for industry is 199 euros. For university and students, it's 149 euros. And we thought, okay, it's always about learning and getting value out of conference. One of our members did a book on coating. So we added a book as a gift for you to the ticket, which is also an experiment for us. We are not the guys which are sending out thousands of books, but we thought, okay, it's a good idea to have the theoretical background on coating technologies. So this we will supply additionally to the talks. We also will send out later as PDF files. You will also have the book about coating technologies.
And the book, as far as I understand, it's really a high caliber book. It's a scientific book. It's not a small marketing book. It's really a scientific book. So it's packed full of value. And I believe the retail price of this book only is already 80 euros. So you are getting with your ticket a book that has giving you full value to the coating technologies. Wonderful. Okay. Right. Thomas, anything else you would like to address on the coating industry?
I think the interesting part I see now being more in my office, we're having 3 or 4 meetings, digital meetings a day, is of course the discussion on sustainable packaging. So using coating technologies on paper to replace plastic materials. So that's a very interesting focus. We have a lot of meetings on. And it could be also a relaunch of the coating industry in Europe, because if you do a barrier coating on paper with nanocellulose material, you don't have to do it in Asia and then ship it to Europe. It will be directly done here. It will be on big scale, high-speed operation. That's the interesting thing we are working on at the moment. And the other one here in NRW, we will get the Forschungsfabrik Batterie, so a gigafab on batteries funded by the German government. So there's a big hype now at the universities here, at industry, because we really will get this, I think, 12 gigabyte fab near Münster. And that's the other thing we are working on at the moment here in Dormagen.
So a lot of new opportunities and things that are keeping you busy during the night as well.
Yeah, definitely. And preparing the LinkedIn event.
And preparing the LinkedIn event, LinkedIn Lives, and the 19th of Symposium. So, okay, I'm coming to the end of my show. Anyone who's now gone off because of some other private commitments, I can read in the comments. You're welcome to watch this LinkedIn Live in the replay. So you can watch this live on my activity list, on my personal activity list. But we will also make sure that we bring a link in the event to this LinkedIn Live, so you can watch it in the comfort of your zone and have a look and inform yourself about the 19th symposium. Other than that, please have have a look if you find this symposium interesting for you. I personally have to say there's a very wide field and really new applications, future applications, trends available that I would advise not to miss out, really, because it's a fantastic lineup of speakers. So thank you really for your time for now. And we keep you informed about anything that comes up in the meanwhile. And other than that, we'll see you in the event on the 4th of November. Thank you, Thomas, for being a guest on my show.
Thank you, Ilkay. It was a pleasure.
And bye for now.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
IMBEO Passionate B2B Partnerships. Das LinkedIn Live-Videocast-Format mit Praxiswissen für Gründer, Unternehmer, Geschäftsführer und Führungskräfte aus dem Mittelstand rund um Innovation, Selbstführung, Leadership, internationales B2Business Development und nachhaltigem Netzwerken. Das LinkedIn Live-Videocast gefällt dir? Dann empfehle ihn bitte weiter und unterstütze die Arbeit von Ilkay Özkesaoğlu mit einer Bewertung auf LinkedIn. Du willst noch mehr Tipps zum B2Business Development im Mittelstand? Vernetze dich mit Ilkay Özkesaoğlu direkt hier auf LinkedIn und erhalte täglich werthaltige Inhalte direkt und bequem in deinem LinkedIn-Feed. Tschüss und auf Wiedersehen.